Welcome. Let us first get into the detailing of previous sutra a little bit, and then we will move to this. It was said, tat pratishedhartham eka tattva abhyasa, which means whatever we have been facing as obstacles, as distractions, we have to do eka tattva abhyasa. Now, we are studying Yoga Sutras, but we know we are not yogis. We fully recognize this, and let us keep that in mind. Or else we will be misled. Here, Eka Tattva Abhyasa has been referred to as focusing on Ishvara. Eka Tattva Abhyasa, Pranava or Ishvara, you have to work on. You have to take help of. You have to focus on Eka Tattva. Also, in yogic traditions, there is only one mantra, which is called pranava. However, in tantric tradition, we have 33 crore mantras. Okay? Not one or two. Somewhere it is written 33 crore, somewhere it is written as 7 crore mantras. So both ways, it is in crores. Most of us feel that when we take up our sadhana, the first mantra which we receive as our personal mantra, which may be taken as Guru mantra, not effectively so because we don't claim that we are your gurus. So at least we can say Guru Mandala's mantra for you has that capacity to remove or work on the ignorance principle. Guru. Guru means the dispeller of darkness. Any mantra which works on not directly on certain things, like if you have seen your sadhana, you are aware by now that different mantras are working on different aspects of your personality. However, this particular mantra, which is received from Guru Mandala, is supposedly given to every individual for the specific reasons of a specific baggage which one is having. And therefore, it is in a way directly working on your three malas. It starts, it triggers the process. Now, Eka Tattva Abhyasa for different things will be a little challenging, is it not? For that, a yogi or a practitioner has to be really at a very, very advanced stages to be able to derive all benefits from Eka Tattva Abhyasa. For example, when you are having a particular mental current, you need a particular kind of advice. Mantra or advice. Mantra is the word for advice also. Advice is also mantra. And therefore, I gave you this word. Therefore, the advisor to kings are called mantri. Okay. Who is mantri? The one who advises. So any advice is a mantra. Any advice coming your way from a right kind of source is a mantra. So if you are going through a particular kind of suffering through, sailing through a particular kind of situation, and an enlightened or informed advice comes your way, it is a mantra for that. Removal of that particular obstacle. Is it not? So, as I always say that the first part, Samadhi path, is Shambhavopaya of yoga. And therefore, it is meant for only those kind of people who are already crossed some distance. They have already achieved somewhat purification. Not ordinary purification, but kind of purification which has made them capable of assimilating the essence of self, and also has given them so much control on their mind that they are able to more or less try at least to still their vrittis. Understand? So they are almost there. They need to be given little advice, simple advice. Few things to work. For example, it is said, Samazdar ko ishara kafi. So if you have achieved that kind of samajdari, then only ishara will work, which should also get translated into, in this particular sutra, that yes, for such high caliber sadhakas, simple advice of abhayasa vairagya and Ishwar pranidhan is going to help. Now, when it is being said that you have to do Ishwar pranidhan for eka tattva abhyasa, for different things to overcome, do you really think, or is it rational to think like that, that the similar abhyasa of that one tattva will be able to remove all your different problems? Effectively not. You can't come to that conclusion. Which means, once it has been said, Ishwar pranidhan, and this one tattva, Ishvara, is being introduced for your help, for your acceleration on the path, augmentation in your practices, and that one tattva is very important because it has been added. Ishwar pranidhanadva. And you must engage as a yoga practitioner in Ishwar pranidhan. And Patanjali has given no choice. And so Ishvara, now who understands Ishvara? He tried to define it. Now for someone who has understood Ishvara in the correct way, klesha karma vipakashaiha aparamrishta purusha vishesha Ishvara, and then tatra sarvajna bijam, and the guru who is unobstructed by the flow of time. This, if you have understood and understood it well, then why so many attributes needed to be told in the first place? Why? Only because when you are facing with certain kind of mental environment, any sort of impediment, one of these multiple attributes of these qualities should be applied. There is only one Ishvara, one Eka Tattva, but that Eka Tattva, one Tattva, has so many attributes. Is it not? So do we really understand what Eka Tattva Abhyasa would mean? Which simply means that this one Tattva has so many properties. Some have been explained here, some have been stated, and some probably you would have already known. Because yoga as a discipline is coming at a very later stage in the journey of sadhaka. Is it not? Atha yoga anushasanam. Now, the discipline of yoga. Okay. So, as someone who has been cultured enough, have been raised in certain kind of with certain kind of sanskaras, all those things about Ishvara is already, you have already heard them. So many things about. In these words, nowhere it is said that Ishvara is kind. But what is general perception? Ishwar bada dayalu hai. Everyone takes like that. Nowhere here it has been told that Ishwar is nyayakari. Nowhere. But you know Ishwar does justice also. So those many attributes of Ishvara would come to know, in your knowledge, that those things you would come to know only when you begin your contemplation on Ishvara tattva with the pranava japa. That is what Patanjali means. And this one tattva is full of so many qualities that it can be utilized or used for calming down different or removing different kind of obstacles. So when it was said tajjapa tadartha bhavanam, which also should be taken, now conjoin this sutra with tajjapa tadartha bhavanam. Eka tattva abhayasa tajjapa tadartha bhavanam. Which means when you are dealing with a particular type of situation in the inner environment, we must do eka tattva abhyasa of that one tattva. That means one attribute of that tattva must be fully contemplated on. Otherwise, look at it. In place of one bhavana at a time, if you take the bouquet of bhavana in your japa, then it's a problem. At least for the normal sadhaka, it is not possible. So one has to understand that. As a sadhaka, when we are contemplating on Ishvara, we need to resurrect our own Ishvara with the divine quality, that infiniteness of it, that it helps us. That bhavana has to be strong. Eka tattva abhyas. Is it not? Because when you think you are facing injustice, then you should invoke Ishvara. And what should be your bhavana? No. This world is overseen by Ishvara, who gives justice. And therefore, I am not being subjected to any kind of injustice. Only then, and suppose at that time when Ishvara, you are contemplating on this, and you start, you are facing this injustice, sort of perceived injustice, and you start contemplating on one attribute of Ishvara is Sarvagya. While you're dealing with injustice, you are using another quality, let's say, which is not directly helping you. So it will trigger a train of thoughts in your mind. How? Ishvara is Sarvagya, therefore he knows everything I have done. When I say everything, my mind has already wandered in past, future, present, everywhere. Probably even past lives also have started imagining. And then because Ishvara knows everything, and then this whole mind runs to every possible place. Is it not? When you say everything, when you use the word everything, does your mind not feel agitated? Does your mind not start finding out direction, in which direction it should move? And then because he knows everything, I have done, and he has done or she has done. Now, again, I have brought in two. Multiple things, a multiplicity of the individual has, the solo experience of an individual who was engaged in Ishwar Pranidhan has been replaced by now the person also. And now not only this person, but again you'll say, then I must have done this, I must have done that, and therefore again a series of thoughts. Sarvagyata is not directly helping. However, you can still deduce that because he knows everything, he must be doing justice. You see. But is it directly helping? It is not. So, Eka Tattva Abhyasa is like that in yoga. As far as I understand, from an outsider perspective, I'm giving. Only yogis can tell. You may ask questions. The real yogis might answer better probably. What Eka Tattva Abhyasa? Why Eka Tattva Abhyasa? Why so many attributes then? Because different attributes are useful for us. Therefore, whatever is not useful, do we ever, even bring in such a book? Not at all. Because this is a guide. This is the recipe book for the sadhaka. Will you try to bring in anything unwanted, unnecessarily, not useful kind of thing? No. Because the book, the whole purpose of Patanjali is to help you, the yogi, to be able to come to that state where he has attained samadhi. So, the purpose should be understood. And therefore, we should always think why one Ishvara was given, like in our case, we have also given that. Don't think that we have not created God with multiple attributes. By the way, Shiva is one, but he has 5 faces. He has 5 Shaktis. See? So whichever Shakti we feel should be working and helping, we gravitate towards it. We take that Shakti and we contemplate, we propitiate, we connect. That is what we are saying. Exactly the same thing you are seeing here. So can there be any difference there? No. But it looks as if, on surface it looks as if there is a lot of difference. We are talking of Eka Tattva Abhyasa. And while we are dealing with so many tattvas. So partly true. In the words, it is true. Yes, they are talking of Eka Tattva Abhyasa. And there only one tattva exists, by the way, Ishvara. In our system, we have gradations of experiences, and therefore we say there are so many tattvas. And we need to contemplate on different tattvas to deal with different sort of issues, different sort of challenges. Once this gets clear, then we can move to another aspect here. Further, we thought yoga would directly give some technique for us to move from having a crowded mind with thoughts to become completely silent. But what yoga is supposed to be doing? Eliminate thought after thought. Theory is not doing it. Rather, it is implanting new definitions in our head. Suppose somebody was not aware of Ishvara by the time he came to become a yogi, then Ishvara as an element has also come in. Further, they are also now telling this in this next sutra. Now I'm moving to next sutra. Here they are saying that maitrī-karuṇā-muditā-upekṣānāṃ, muditā-upekṣā. So it becomes muditā-upekṣā. Muditā-upekṣānāṃ sukha-duḥkha-puṇya-apuṇya-viṣayāṇāṃ bhāvanātaḥ citta-prasādanam. What does that mean? Now, you are a very bland kind of a person. You don't have all these bhavas, let's say, right? You live your life, simply live your life. Many people don't have. We are talking of these bhavas, four bhavas. Some people are full of different emotions, different shades of emotions they can experience. Others may not. Each one of us are gifted with certain kind of capacity. How many emotions you can experience? And I can tell you. Look at your own emotional states. If you are coming in those kind of emotional states, then only you can say, I experience this. Not that I understand somebody else's emotional state. You can't, because you have not been able to experience it yourself. So if the similar, even if a word is produced, suppose maybe this may have come across in your life sometime. People say, I don't know what love is. This word is not in in my dictionary. Have you not seen such people? I don't know what love is. Because they are not having that inner emotion. They have no experience of it, and therefore for them it doesn't exist. Understand? So different grades of emotions are possible, but it depends on person to person. Certain emotions, as a child, we are born with capacities, different sort of capacities. If those capacities remain unobstructed, probably as a wholesome human being, we would be able to experience many emotions. But the way we have been conditioned, the way we have been dealt with in our childhood, in our early age, and that let us understand that early age should not be taken as hard-wiring age, is before 4 years. 4 years of age. So don't blame other things. Yes, there is a possibility that beyond 4 years also certain things can come your way. But it is not so hardwired. Things which have been done to you, things which you have experienced right from the time when you were conscious and in the mother's womb, right from the labor room or delivery room to the age of almost 4 years, whatever you have experienced, good or bad, certain things will impact you positively, certain things will impact you negatively. So those negative experiences become hardwired. And because of that kind of hardwiring, we become the individual that we are. If not worked on it, if not recognized that this is what I am and I need to get better, I need to work on it. If you don't work on it, you'll remain so all through your life. So here, at least 4 basic emotions one must know. Howsoever bland a yoga practitioner might be, I'm in vairagya, I don't feel emotions. But the Patanjali says no. Even the highest of the capacity, if one has, even then, this is going to help. What? Having 4 sort of emotions. Having felt, having known them. What is it? Maitrī-karuṇā-muditā-upekṣānāṃ. Mudita and upeksha. Mudita plus upeksha becomes mudito-upeksha. Okay? So 4 things you must know, must experience. These 4 emotions must be available as an experience for a yogi, otherwise, or probably as a human being, or else it is not possible for you to even apply this Sutra 33rd in your life. And then he says, you probably as a human being, having been raised in a human society, would have experienced probably It's a given probably for Patanjali, and therefore he says he never asks you to develop it. He says he thinks as if they are there. For example, he understands that ekagrata or the one-pointedness is not a thing which most of us have, and therefore he will give you methods to cultivate that. If he would have assumed that these emotions are not present in you, then he would have probably given you the methods to to be able to experience this. Certain examples, certain situations, not that. But he doesn't give it. He directly comes to this point. He directly shoots the arrows. He says, maitrī-karuṇā-muditā-upekṣānāṃ. These four things you must have experienced, and therefore now work on it. Use them. You have these. Okay. So do you have it, first of all? Yes, most of us have it. It might be conditional and always conditional. For example, when you see somebody in pain, as a human being, you tend to get pained. And then this is called empathy, sympathy, whatever name in English you can say. We say it is karuna. We want that pain to be alleviated. We want that pain to go, because we can't see that suffering. This bhava, this emotion, if you have experienced and if you have ever understood that somebody's pain or suffering has to go away, whatever it triggers in your emotional field, that emotion is known as karma. If you all have experienced it, you can use it. Have you experienced maitri sometime? No. आज की दुनिया में कौन दोस्त होता है? चाहिए? Is it? अब तो नया ही फैशन है. No friends, no enemies. And most of us, even having experienced the friendship, that bhava of maitri, we are not nurturing it. We don't nurture it only because it is survival issue. Isn't it? You're missing it. And I can tell you. And that is why it is so very rare now in modern times to find a good friend, a friend who is really a friend, right? Why? Because the conditioning is like that. It has become a survival issue. You are missing it. Let me tell you, you are definitely missing it. You want a friend because you have experienced it somewhere in your life, and you know how it tastes like, how it feels like. That maitri, that emotion, when it is churning inside, how it feels like. It's a very great feeling. It's a feeling which probably you have already tasted. If you would not have tasted it, you would not yearn for it. You will not think that something is amiss. And if at all, I don't miss any friend, no problem. The life is okay. I don't have any friend, but I'm okay with it. But I can tell you, even then, if over the period of time, you come across a particular kind of, relationship with someone, and over the period of time, it develops into friendship, you will feel good. Which means you had a liking for it. You have this inherent, embedded, intrinsic liking for it, or else you will not like it. Or maybe you are so insecure, or you are so fearful. Now it may happen that you may not like it. You may not welcome people near you because you don't want to share things with them. You don't want to share. Why you don't want to share? Because of your own guilt, probably. Because of your own fears of getting blackmailed or getting a bad image or whatnot. You may. However, It does not mean that from tomorrow onward we should start telling everyone our life story. Because it is not possible. And yoga is not asking, by the way. That is not being asked. But at least bhava, that emotion, you should be familiar with. So Patanjali says that you probably, if not in this lifetime, you would have experienced it somewhere in your previous lifetimes. And therefore the sanskaras are there. You have already experienced it. Today, in this lifetime, yesterday, or maybe far, far behind in your certain lives, you must have experienced it. And many things we have experienced, and therefore they happen to us. It is in our experience. That is why they come so natural to us. Or just for example, nobody teaches anyone, irrespective of their, their choices, to come close to a person physically. Nobody teaches. But somehow you want that and you relish it. Why would you want it if you have not have any taste of it? You did not have any experience of it. Coming close to someone, physically coming close to someone. Whatever it is, most of us would want that. And even that can become a problem. And this is a very, very complicated subject. Why? To understand what is my nature now and why it has become like this. It's a very complicated process because the reasons are not limited to this lifetime. You may say, no, I don't like physical contact. Good. But for sure, it is not your normal upbringing only which is going to impact the kind of temperament you're having, the kind of choices you're making right away. It is also from previous lifetimes. For example, every child who has been born out of a mother, not out of a test tube, must have been fed by the mother, kept close to herself. Of course, this proximity, this touch of body against body, this experience is with you. And it was in your favor. It was nurturing you. And this is why, even at a later stage, you want to experience it. Because it was so soothing. It was so comforting. So, let us understand, whatever we are engaged in, it is driven by our previous sanskaras. Something which we already know, something which we have already experienced. And would you ask now, but Acharyaji, how can I be interested in knowing myself? Coming close to who the true experience of who I am, discovering my real essence. It is not my experience. It would probably, as per karma theory, as per whatever masters have been telling, it would have never been my experience. But no, they say, no, it is not. You are Shiva, having the experience of Shivaness, bound in the matter now, and therefore you will learn. Understand? You know what it is. It may be triggered by any other thing. See, you are not always having that kind of desire or direction of orientation of all your energies all the time. You may have kama when kama situation comes. You may have krodha when krodha situation comes. You may have karuna when karuna situation comes. Is it not? You may have jealousy, irsha when that comes. So it is a situation driven. So when a situation arises, when a particular situation arises, you may also feel, what a great explanation. What a great description. It feels like as if I know, as if I want to know. You see? Why? Because you have had an experience. So situations will propel you to create that kind of desire of self-discovery, knowing yourself. And that is why satsang. The more you live with such people, the more you get to know about this experience, the more you know the attributes of what it is like to be in your true presence or something, what you understand as your true self, what it is like being like Shiva. It is only giving you, it is only working as a reminder of the Anadi. See, in the beginning, what it was? Shiva, who becomes Jiva now. So now Shiva becomes interested. This Jiva becomes interested because it's not Jiva, it is Shiva who has the experience of Shivaness. Okay, understood? So every experience we are aspiring is conditional, and it depends on what kind of situations we are surrounding ourselves with. And situations are not always external, by the way. What environment we are creating depends a lot on what kind of thoughts we are invoking and surrounding ourselves with. Because thought is that inner environment. All the thoughts which we are bringing out or projecting or recalling or repeating or revising or dissecting or whatever, putting attention on, mulling over, contemplating, thinking, giving importance to. This is your inner environment. And this inner environment will decide how you feel. Understand? This inner environment is going to create the feeling. And for feeling to fructify, one thought is not sufficient. For feelings to get invoked, the emotions to get invoked, multiple thoughts of the similar genre has to come. Thought after thought have to come. Then only an emotion can be created. That is why I always say, thought versus energy, these are equal. In Tantra, you understand, thought is equal to subtle energy. When this subtle energy packet starts moving, it gets into a very strong motion, a particular pattern of motion. This energy in motion becomes emotion. So here, Maitri is not a single thought. Karuna is not a single thought. Mudita is not a single thought. Upeksha is also, by the way, not a single thought. You should have so many parallel thoughts going on in order to experience Maitri. It is not possible that you experience Maitri out of only one thought. Similar thoughts, the train of thoughts, will be able to create that energy in certain kind of particular motion, which is called emotion. Okay. So we are studying this Yoga Sutra not to become yogi. We know who we are. We are Tantra practitioners. We are not interested in this kind of lifestyle which, yogis would probably advise. And let me tell you, it is very difficult also. Why? Because look at it. What they will demand? They will demand that you must come out of the place wherever you are. You have to. You have to renounce. If not today, then tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then the day after. And when they say renounce, they really mean it. And when they mean it, they mean permanent. By the way, that is another problem. You see? They don't ask you to renounce it for some time, work on yourself and get to some experience and create a window for yourself, at least from where you can lurk into the nature of your own, which Tantra believes, by the way. Yoga would say, no, permanent. Drop it. Change your ashram. Become sannyasa. Become vanaprasthi. Is it possible for you? If it is possible, please go ahead. Pick up that. But you know what it is going to be like. How you have played your life so far. What are your inner tendencies? It's very difficult for you to just one day make a resolve and let go. Probably all through your grihastha, each day you should become more and more vanaprasthi in order to become a vanaprasthi after 25 years or 30 years or whatever, 150 years of your grihasthi. Then only you can become. Each day you should move towards vanaprasthi, is it not? Like in our brahmacharya we did. What do? Every day we become more and more interested and more inclined and more enticed by what grihastha is. Developing that kind of appreciation. That is what has brought you from brahmacharya to grihastha. Look at your journey. If you are not appreciating this simple fact, then it is not going to take you anywhere. Tantra gives you that freedom. It says, yes, separation, kind of isolation, solitude, of course needed. Only for you to work on yourself and create as many orifices, as many windows in your persona, as many windows in your being, wherefrom you can lurk into that infinite. The windows, they begin with this. Okay. And unless you develop appreciation for what it is, how can you be really interested in it? Completely coming out of your house. You see? What is our psychology? Somebody will tell you, hey buddy, come out. See, what a great rainbow. I can tell you, you are not going to come out of your house. I am sure you will first open your window. This is how we work. And once you, yes, nobody cheating me. Yes, for sure there is rain. Not one, but double rain. Then only you will run out of your house. Look at this. Are we fooling ourselves? That someday I will become like that. Then why to waste our time? We don't want to become yogi. We have picked it up intentionally so. Not out of any ignorance. I picked it up to only give you a better understanding of mind. And whatever ways, Tantra is also utilized. You see, Sutra says Eka tattva abhayasa. I have already explained. Eka tattva abhayasa of Ishvara. Okay? Ishvara is one. That Eka tattva abhayasa will help you deal with all your obstacles, all your what you call different things, pramada and etc. Whatever long list, 9 to 10 things were given. These things will be worked on. Eka tattva abhyas, Ishvara. But that Eka tattva, Vana tattva, as I already explained, has so many attributes. You said it is Sarvagya, is it not? You said it is not obstructed by time. You said it is unaffected by karma. You said it does not collect any sanskaras. You said so many things about it. And then you say it is Ek Tattva. Has really one Tattva, Ishvara, remained one after having described it in this length? It has not. So when somebody told you that you do Tad-japa tadartha bhavana, as I always, in our commentary, we talked about it. Tad-japa tadartha bhavana. No? Tadartha bhavana is an issue, na? Which bhavana? All the bhavanas. You are sarvagya, you are also beyond time, you are this and you are that. Is it a stuti you are going to do there? If you are doing it, are you really calming your mind or giving more thoughts and more impetus to it? Which means one at a time. And this Eka Tattva Abhyasa would mean one attribute. That is clear? I have revised it only for your better understanding. That Eka Tattva Abhyasa should be understood very well. Now, Eka Tattva Abhyasa, we thought that yoga is somehow diminishing our thoughts, not giving us many more thoughts. Again, I said, yoga is now talking of, one side it says Vairagya. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Okay, good. Very nice. Let us do it. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Okay. A person who is situated in samatva, will he have a maitrī-karuṇā-muditā-upekṣānāṃ? My question. Will he have maitrī-karuṇā-muditā-upekṣānāṃ? Samatvam yoga uchyate. So, that might be ultimate. The process is different. A process is as good as Tantra, as I told you. There also they are saying, Maitri, Karuna, Mudita and Upeksha. You have to apply. For first, what do you need to do? You also need to recognize sukha-duḥkha. And the topic of Papa Punya is so vast that your life you cannot complete that list. Let me tell you. And you will be always confused. Is it Papa or Punya? And then what you will do? You'll go asking some Acharya, asking some Guru, asking some Swami, Acharya, what is this Papa or is this Punya? What kind of emotion I should live here? Of Upeksha or of Mudita? Because Papa Punya is very difficult thing. And when Papa Punya comes to the sadhana, let me tell you, our sadhana has already been hijacked. As a tantric practitioner, I can tell you. Then we will not be saying we have Purans. There is no difference then between Puran and Quran. Please understand that. Esoteric meaning of it is not taken if it is hijacked by only agenda of Papa and Punya and creating a balance sheet all the time. I do this and therefore I will be transported in this. I do this and therefore my chance is always in the next life. Yoga will promise you that, okay, you will have chance, but chances are in your next life. Okay? And the logic is so much baggage. You have to suffer a lot of things. And then, another problem with this system of yoga, I'm not ridiculing it, let me tell you. I'm just telling you, principally, if you are a rational person, you are bound to get to these doubts. You'll say, what yoga promises? Yoga promises that once you attain a certain kind of threshold in your vidya or jnana, in your prajna, in your khyati, whatever name you take, then what will happen? The cycle will seemingly come to a stop for you, balance as it is. Okay. Never liberated completely. If you take this shastra, this scripture, then this is the problem. The problem is you are never liberated completely. Why? The balance is kept. It is kept in the chest of the Ishvara. He keeps it here. And when next time he starts the Srishti or creation, he again, this fellow, this balance account, give it to him. It means we can never get liberated. At least for eternity. If your time scale says 100 years is good, but ask an ant, if you grant him this wish that you live for 100 years, ant will be very happy. Give 100 years to mosquito, he'll be really surprised, rather ecstatic. He'll say, I have attained moksha because I have been granted the wish. I live for 18 hours, 24 hours, 7 days, 10 days, and I'll be able to live 100 years. My God, this is liberation. Are we mosquitoes to be fooled like this? That no, okay, for 100 years you are to suffer, maybe another 2-3 lives, to 300-400 years you suffer, somehow work on Vidya part, somehow develop your Khyati, somehow develop your Viveka, so that you are able to freeze your mind to stand still, and then you will be transported to Mukti, and that Mukti is not permanent. It is only till this creation continues. So just like a mosquito, 100 years is a very big time. For us human, probably, if we did not have intellect, then we will say, theek hai, 1 trillion years, 1 billion years is okay. This is Mukti. Is it real Mukti? Sorry. Tantra says, no, this is not. If you are still bound by it, you are not liberated at all. The liberation has to be once for all. If you have experienced the unblemished self and you have developed real vairagya, see, the lacuna of systems, they say there are 2 types of vairagya. That is normal vairagya, which is called vashikara. That means out of your control you develop it. Okay. And they will say there is another type of vairagya also, which is par-vairagya. Okay. Par-vairagya means even the fruits of your samadhi, you are able to drop. Even your sanskaras of samadhi, you are able to drop. That kind of vairagya is called par-vairagya. And only people who are eligible for mukti, they are the same people who have attained par-vairagya. Okay, for sure. Yoga is not talking about the mukti for anyone who is still in the Vashikara Vairagya. Okay, so there the real problem comes. You have also been so detached that not a single thread of connect remains between you and your karma. Howsoever noble or unblemished it may be, or what can be more pure than that asamprajñāt samadhi? What can be more pure than that? Even that you are not taking as your karma. That also you are able to drop. But at the end of it, you are not getting liberated. What does it mean? Not saving a single thread between you and your karma, between you and your bhoga. Still you are not liberated. You say, no, when the Srishti will come, again you will be bound. And by the way, there are so many U's. U-S-E name. Y-O-U and then S. So many U's. So there we differ a lot. However, I'm just coming to the sutra. Patanjali introduces 4 kinds of emotions. Maitrī-karuṇā-muditā-upekṣānāṃ. And then he says, where are they to be used? He says, at places where you see some happiness going on, you start feeling like Maitri for them. In a way, he's saying, don't be jealous. Don't feel bad that some good thing is happening in somebody else's life. Because we may feel so many things. We may get into comparison mode. We may get into regret mode. I would have also been enjoying this. So many things can happen. He says, no, become friend. Suddenly forget who you are, you become friend. Assume, emotion of friendship. Wherever you see happiness or supposedly happiness, You see, sometimes we feel that people are happy because they are surrounded with so many means for happiness, but they are not really happy. So yoga says, Patanjali comes forward and says, see, don't have to worry whether they are happy or not. If you see they are surrounded with the means for happiness, treat them as your friend. Invoke the friendship. Good. You must. You must. Because when we see people surrounded with so many goodies, our first reaction is, how come? In this little life, I had been trying hard enough. For last 30 years, I could not earn $3 million. How can a person become, a $3 trillion company? I am barely earning $3,000, 3,000 pounds a week. How can a person, make such profit? Must have done something bad. Must have done something illegal. Must have done something very, This is your cynicism, is it not? Yoga says no. You don't have to become interested in how it has come to him or her. If it is there, invoke that positive emotion in your heart, rather deeper mind, those currents that as if he is or she is your friend. Let me tell you, mudita, karuna, maitrī, upeksha, what are they doing to us? Let us focus on that. They are taking us from the vrittis which are klishta to aklishta. That's the only purpose. Okay? Not more than that. Okay? So, here, the whole intention of creating these bhavas or emotions would require us to get into a thought train. Look at it. We were talking of chitta-vritti nirodha, but we are not actually doing it. We are going other way around. Is it not? We are creating some more bhavas, more thoughts. How can you develop maitri? I was on the point of how can you develop maitri with one thought? You have to have multiple thoughts about it. Then only the bhava arises. Understand or not? Have you ever felt any emotion without having a thought train of thoughts? Multiple thoughts moving, multiple thoughts of the similar tonality moving in the same direction or in the same pattern. Then only emotion is felt. Then how can you say that maitri will come only looking at somebody? I will never think that good things should come to him. I will not, internally singing Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. I am very happy that he has become happy. I am praying all day long. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. Now I see somebody happy. By the way, now he is my friend. And if you are seeing the goods around him, the means of the bhoga or pleasure around him, of course you would imagine, and happily so, that he is enjoying or she is enjoying the means. Yes or no? Unless you are going through these thoughts, what your maitri is, let me ask you, if you are not even imagining that the person enjoying the means he has, what is your maitri all about? Are we not working against that principal desire, goal of the chitta-vritti nirodha? Yes, we are. But Patanjali has given you a step-by-step method. First, you have to learn to come to a aklishta vritti. Okay? Your vritti should always be, whatever be the situation around you, either your vritti should be good or they should not be allowed to move randomly. That's it. And that's exactly what upeksha does. Because when you see some sinister activities going on, somebody engaged in some sort of creating suffering for somebody, and that definitely we would treat as if he is or she is sinning. This is papa. Inflicting injury, suffering, or what kind of deceiving, not going by the right means, is sin. And therefore, if I do not ignore it, upeksha means completely drop it, don't want to think it. This means again you're checking your mind. There was a possibility where your mind could have gone in a spiral mode. Patanjali says, stop right there. Upeksha, don't think about it. As if it has not happened. Gandhi ji ke 3 mandar. Upeksha. By the way, Patanjali says, even if you are able, if you are seeing something bad, if you are hearing something bad, you must develop that much capacity to ignore outrightly and forever. Not that you have ignored there and then you started mulling it over later. Otherwise, what is the use of upeksha then? Upeksha would have been a successful effort if the thought did not come to you again, or it was a very feeble one, which did not draw your attention in a way. Or the yogis will say, no, your attention, etc. is just a jargon. Only you are the one who raise your thoughts, and therefore you have, in a way, have gotten some sort of control in applying some wisdom there, which kind of thought you should give your energy to. That much has come. Okay? So effectively, maitrī-karuṇā-muditā-upekṣānāṃ, and Patanjali is very happily describing it. He says, for what? In the subject matters of sukha-duḥkha-puṇya-apuṇya, what for you are doing? Citta-prasādanam. For the inner joy of your chitta, mind, a happy mind. Okay? So, in the modern vocabulary or modern language, if we translate the sutra says, gives you a method for creating happy mind. Okay. Which kind of mind is happy? He has given definitive clues about it. Rather, sutras, direct commandments. You should feel maitrī like this. Wherever you see sukha, you should develop maitrī. For the person, not for the objects, by the way. Okay. Yeah, let me clarify. Or else you think, no, maitrī. Wherever sukha is there, I'll develop maitrī for everything. I'll develop maitrī for the Ferrari also, and the chauffeur also, and all sort of things which is, the person is enjoying. No, maitrī for the person, the conscious being there. So, actually. So, you deal with this world in such a way that your mind is mostly a happy mind. And why there was need to give this to such a high state of sadhaka, such high caliber somebody is having, that one can attain citta-vritti nirodha only using 2 primary tools which are called abhayasa vairagya, and then an additional one which is called ishwar pranidhan. And then these things are also listed out, because this is a possibility even for the so-called wise people, educated people, having firmness in their knowledge, which is called real vidya. They can also be subjected to different sort of waves which come to them, and they can become like a floating leaf on the waves. They must be provided with many, many tools. And do we acknowledge this in Tantra? Yes, we do. Go to Sapta Shloki. Shloka 1. Jnaninam api chehitansi devi bhagavati hisa. Balada krishya mohaya mahamaya prachati. So this is the world like that. Even jnanis. And here jnanis are not that those who are, Google download is not jnana. Jnana is that state where you live by that knowledge. Okay, that is jnana. But even so-called jnanis are also drawn into the ignorance by her. Huh? Is it not? So even we are acknowledging here in Tantra this, that yes, while you may have completely established in vairagya, in abhayasa, in Ishwar pranidhan, also being able to control your vrittis and so on and so forth, but still there are possibilities. Or why there are so many means given them? There also can be pramada, there can also be dhyana. So many things have been listed. Nidra, alasya, what not. So many things have been mentioned. Should a jnani behave like that? No, but he may. And therefore, these additional instructions are coming our way. And this philosophy is actually, as I said in the beginning, if you follow yoga in toto, that means it has to be taken up like mathematics. You can't say, how does it matter? There are so many digits. Can I just place this decimal? I'm really little lazy to move my hand to that place where I need to put the decimal. Can I put here itself? Or maybe somewhere here? No. Mathematical equations will never be solved by like that. Can never get to the right kind of results. Like mathematics, you have to follow Patanjali. If you are not capable, better drop it. Like mathematician, Patanjali is solving the riddle of mind, giving perfect tools. I'm not against Patanjali here. Patanjali is rather the most enlightened psychologist of the ancient India. Enlightened psychologist. You understand what I mean when I use this word? He is giving you right kind of methods. And why? Why he has emphasized so much? Because he knows that Indian scripture has always told us, man eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo. That is why. That is why he's behaving like psychologist. You have to work on your mind. And he's giving very, very precise and very, very clear-cut and systematic method. But only if you have courage and determination to follow the path as it is being depicted here in the scripture and as being explained by any true follower or teacher of yoga. You have the courage, go and follow. But since we have already chosen our path, we need not worry so much. We believe in instantaneous enlightenment. We believe in time division multiplexing. These are new concepts, by the way. Yoga, probably Patanjali wasn't aware of it. We believe in time division multiplexing. We also believe in frequency division multiplexing. We can use a bad carrier, which is called carrier, means noise. We can use the noise to convey the message of divinity. Okay? This is what Tantra is capable of doing. Tantra is the latest technology. Okay? I'm not saying yoga is not. Yoga is also relatively new, and therefore, I would say yoga is a latest psychology in ancient India. You have to work on your mind, and the tools are given here. And everything, here Patanjali in this 33rd Sutra says, everything you're doing for what? Citta-prasādanam. Now you can go to any extent to explain this particular sutra, saying that when it gets perfected and when it is combined with vairagya, it is also loaded with all sort of viveka, khyati, etc. Then it becomes citta-prasādanam, the ultimate joy erupting in your chitta. But ordinarily, for ordinary people, those terms don't mean anything. They're just jargons. We have to be true to ourselves. Does it make sense to us? Are we capable enough? Is our lifetime sufficient enough? This is what we have to be aware. So this is our problem. First half of life, we are not still decisive what to do. And then once we decide, then I want to work like this. Because most of us began our journey in unawareness. We have gotten engaged into so many things, which now we think should not be part of our life. A sudden realization has come in. No, I don't want these things to be part of my life. But you invited them. Now, sudden realization took 40 years. Yeah. After 40 years, now intazar, waiting. That somehow I find some good way to, deal with it, whatever I have created. Is it not? So, whatever path you choose, devote yourself 100%. Be true to that path 100%. As a Tantra practitioner, we say that here in this life, you have an opportunity, if not to stay rooted in that experience of Purusha or self forever, like a Siddha, but as a Sadhaka, each one of us have capacity to have glimpses of it. The more of it, better. More frequent, even better. Established in it, nothing like it. But are we not able to see the difference here? Yoga doesn't give you any leeway there. It says, getting established means getting established. Vairagya means 100% control. That is why it is a vashīkāra-saññā. You have to have the control. Then only this vairagya comes. And what do we say? We say, yes, vairagya will come. And how vairagya comes? By ripening of viveka. And it's a long journey. That vivek ripens to become, the fruit it becomes, is vairagya. Without vivek, no vairagya. Only the words are different. Actually, vairagya is ripened viveka. So, here in Tantra we say, even if in certain period of time duration, if you are able to develop maitrī, live it. Don't leave an opportunity. That's a window. That citta-prasādanam is a window wherefrom you can actually, take a quantum jump. Like an electron, when agitated. For electron, there is a different kind of laws. When electron gets too much energy, it gets shifted to a higher orbit. It remains there, dissipates its energy, comes back. No problem. We are okay with that. Even if it is a momentary shift for us, our consciousness, to move from this mundane level to a higher level, using any means, doesn't matter what. Maitrī is okay. And Tantra says, even anger is okay. Even kama is okay. You understand that? You have been listening to many other shastras. And there has been, clearly it has been told. So this is, why differentiate? Why create this good and bad division? If it is providing you with certain stimulus, divinize it. Change the direction. So while Patanjali is giving a very long journey with muditā-karuṇā-upekṣānāṃ, we say upeksha is not going to take you anywhere. That is not our way. We deal with the three. Maitrī-karuṇā-muditā. And even upeksha will not do. If you rather become angry, it will do. Tantra practitioner will say upeksha is not working. No, it doesn't serve our purpose. Even krodha will serve our purpose. And by the way, yogis would also agree that krodha can serve our purpose. Anger can also serve our purpose. And they give it a different color. They say, out of anger, if you do more punya, is it not good, krodha? Come on. See, example would be like I'm doing very great activity. I'm doing bhandara, let's say, feeding people. 100 people only, and you being my neighbor are always jealous of me. So the day you see that I'm feeding 100 people every day, you become very angry. And in this anger, you begin feeding 1,000 people per day. And then those tabulation, whatever table you keep, good, bad, ugly, karmas, papa, punya. This krodha is good krodha, because it has transitioned you from doing nothing to doing punya. You see, it's still an outwardly activity, by the way. But Tantra says no. Don't make it outwardly activity. Utilize the moment of krodha rather than doing an inactivity there. The seed is there. You externalize it, it's a problem. It will get dissipated. You internalize it, you can use it. Ultimately, this anger, which is supposedly very, very mean quality, not so good quality, is it not? Not so hailed quality or not so hailed emotion at all. Everybody said, no, you should not come in anger. But we do. What to do with it? We sometimes do come in anger. Are we a stone or something? Now what to do with this anger? Patanjali will say, and we will say different things. They are doing tajyapat only to get rid of anger. You see, understand? What we are saying, we are not worried. We as a tantric practitioner are not worried whether it is anger or not. If it is anger, no problem. I will utilize the burst of energy it gives me for transitioning and for transporting my consciousness. So here in this sutra, Patanjali is requesting all yogis to practice maitrī-karuṇā-muditā-upekṣānāṃ in the subject matters of sukha-duḥkha and papa and punya. So wherever punya is happening, punya and papa. So wherever punya is happening, you have to have a joyous inner environment. A very joyful feeling has to come. Does it come? I don't see it coming. Most of you don't seem to be so, holy at heart. Do you have this kind of holy heart? I don't think. If I can tell you, if suppose a beggar passes by, although there are no beggars in Europe and other countries, but here in India, if you come and suppose you find you are on a traffic light stopping, and by the way, a beggar knocked at your window and you ignored, right? You ignored. And just adjacent to you, just beside you, there is another car. Okay. Now he knocks there. And the window goes down and the person picks out 500 rupees note. Ting. Given. I can tell you, you can't ignore this. You can't ignore this. Because it is a missed opportunity for you. You will either ridicule. You can't stay in upeksha there, or you will repent, or you will feel as if you have been reduced to something, meaner by that person. These are simple experiences. Why do we not get there rather than getting transported into the jargons and so-called, virtual world which our scriptures create around us? Tantra says, be realistic. Where do we live? We do live here, and we must learn to utilize each and every aspect of our life. Okay? So what a yogi will start doing? Tajapatadasbhavana. Eka tattva abhayasa. Why? Because you are feeling jealous, or you are feeling as if you have not done, as maybe, some sort of glani, the word is. I'm feeling guilty as if I have not done something which I should have. All that happens or not? Tell me. Will that be your state of mind, or your holy hearts will blossom? Okay, good, very good. This person has done punya karma. I am very glad. My heart has bloomed. It has become from the bud. It has become a full bloom flower. Come on, don't lie to yourself. That's not our state, by the way. That is not the state where we are currently. And if you are not, yoga is this first part, at least so far, whatever we have, not for us. Because these are the simple addendum practices. Forget about abhayasa, vairagya, etc. Maitrī-karuṇā-muditā-upekṣānāṃ doesn't work. Understand? Where we should have been happy, joyous, so much mudita. Are we feeling like that? Has our conditioning, has our social setup, the kind of setup in which we have brought up, does it permit us to feel like that? Mudita, when somebody does good? Sorry. So, it is difficult, but it's an ask from Patanjali, from yogis. If you are a yogi, you have to. Without this, no success. Because there will be occasions when you will have vrittis, so many smritis, so much negativities, overflowing, overwhelming you. And if you get to that state, it means you don't have control on your vrittis. So being faced with these kind of small challenges around, are we really able to keep the promise of chitta-vritti nirodha or vairagya all the time? Or maitrī-karuṇā-muditā-upekṣānāṃ all the time? These are the promises we are making to ourselves, not to anybody, by the way. Are we able to keep? Simple promises. So, look at this. Patanjali is offering a flawless, methodology. But this first part, Samadhi path, is dealing with those students who are already ripened enough. Understand? For them. And therefore, these things we should always take it. Tongue-in-cheek talk. We will continue to talk, we will not understand, we will never experience it, we will fail. So should we at all study these? Yes, there were so many insights. Why not? At least it reflected the real face unto us like a mirror. Did it or not? So at least this much benefit we have done for ourselves. By now, 33 sutras of Samadhi path. Samadhi has not happened, but one thing has become clear. We are not for it. I think we are not made for it. This much has become clear. Yes, we will take it up next time. Thank you for your attention and time. All right? Let's just pray and then we will. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaśyid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shiva.